This episode of the Fab Forums is brought to you by Metal Supermarkets, the convenience store for metal. Find a store near you by clicking the link in the description.
What is up, YouTube family? So today, back on the Bibbster. Got two things really I want to get done. I've been pretty energized because the weather actually finally cleared up for just a little bit. So I want to try to knock these two little things out. You may remember from last video I actually made this centerpiece and the upper piece of the tunnel. I've just got them temporarily clecoed in. I don't want to go any further with those pieces because I need to do some planishing on it, and I don't have my planishing hammer yet. So it's on its way. So I'm just gonna let those kind of marinate there for a little while until I can get that thing in here set up. I'll kind of finish planish those and then we can bead roll them. So I'm gonna move on to something else. Got a couple other things I want to work on. One of those is the brake lines. So you may have seen the video where I got all this stuff from Bibbster. Bibbster was nice enough to hook me up with all new calipers, all new discs, brake lines. But the problem was the brake lines that I got were like a factory style brake line, which had like a hard line that came down through here, and then it turned, and it wasn't long enough. Basically it would reach, but at full lock, you know, it would stretch that line just a little too much, and so I ended up going with just some, what is this? I think these are oh, they're Russell. So just some Russell brake lines, braided brake lines. It's actually like a factory replacement, but because it doesn't have that hard line, it will reach. So then all I did is bought some tabs. These are just brake line mounting tabs, and as you can see, I actually had to modify them. So had to make like this octagon looking shape to it, and then obviously curve it to fit around the tube. And then I'm just gonna lay this thing back just a little bit so this thing will fit right in there. And yeah, got my little welding doohickey holding this tab. You've probably seen a Friday video I did a long time ago on this. This is from Strong Hand Tools. It's got magnets on it, and you can basically hold brackets or tabs this way or that way based on what you need. So anyway, I'm gonna take my angle finder, kind of dial this thing in where I want it, put a couple tacks on it, and do the other side. Well, and then the planisher showed up, so that worked out awesome.
What you working on?
Motorcycle.
I got some help in the shop today. You working on a motorcycle? Getting it all tuned up? Well, don't break it. What are you doing, Weezer? You helping? No? You helping? So the plan is to do some more sheet metal work on the Bibbster. And mom's having girls' night, so it's me and Kane and I here. Gonna try to get some work done. So I really needed a planisher, but I was kind of torn on what brand I was gonna go with. So obviously this is a Bailey. So I'd looked at a bunch of different brands. I'd looked at some really high-end planishers. That's kind of what I was going for, like the $4,000 or $5,000 mark. And the more I got to think about it, well, for one, I needed one right now. And the other thing is you know, something like this, you almost can't beat it. I think I picked this thing up for like $700, $700 or $800. Maybe it's more than that. Maybe shipped and everything, it might have been like $1,000, but still, when you're comparing like something like this to something that's $4,000 or $5,000, even though that other one may be much better, it's hard to justify it sometimes, especially when you need it right now. What are you doing?
I'm getting up here.
You better be careful.
I'm being helpful. Oh, these two died.
So anyway, so I basically made the executive decision just go ahead and buy a Bailey machine. This is obviously their basic machine. I think they have some bigger, better machines than this. And then what I'll do is if I just really want to upgrade down the road, I can sell it and, you know, maybe recoup some money or have a second planisher or something like that. So I just got to figure out how to use it now. I already started playing around a little bit with a piece of aluminum that I've already got, and you can kind of see right there in the center where it's a little bit shinier than the rest. That's where it's been planished already. So anyway, I really needed one of these things to kind of finish up some of the stuff for the Bibbster. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to finish the trans tunnel, get some of that stuff planished where you can see the roller marks in it. Once it's planished, I can kind of scuff it and then we can get on to bead rolling.
How about this too? Can I have gloves?
Gloves? You want gloves?
Yeah.
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 Better? Let me see your gloves.
They were perfect.
They work perfect. All right. Alright, so I put that thing in the bead roller and just kind of broke this little edge on this thing. What I want to do is I'm going to try to make this match the trans tunnel. And I may trim it to kind of mimic this line as well, but I need to be able to rivet this thing to the transmission tunnel itself. So I just put it in the bead roller, kind of broke that line, used that tipping die, broke that line, and then put it in the stretcher, just put a little pre-stretch on it. Now I'm going to run it through the planisher, clean up some of these marks a little bit, and it'll kind of stretch it the rest of the way. It'll kind of flatten it, stretching it the rest of the way. The more I kind of stretch this, the more I should get my angle back in this piece, this portion of the panel itself. have everything pretty much done, planished, cleaned up pretty well, threw some bead rolls on it, and then back in the car. I don't know the final design on that stuff yet. I may do some like quilting. I just don't know yet. It's a commitment because if you mess the panel up, putting the design in it, then you have to start over like from the very beginning. It's not any good, you can't go back. So I don't really know what I want to do yet. I want to make sure that I'm 100% positive on the look that I'm after before I go doing that sort of design work on it. Still got to planish a couple little pieces that I want to get cleaned up. Probably sand this thing with a very fine sandpaper, bring some of that gloss back before, or that shininess back before I actually do the final design work on it. So that way when I scuff it, I'm starting with a clean sheet of aluminum. Stay tuned, got some shop updates coming, and yeah, obviously more Bibbster work. As always, thank you for joining me. I'll see you guys some more this week. Go do work, son.